Today we are looking at a must-have ingredient in your memoir, conflict. And I'm not just talking about family drama, I'm talking about a conflict that actually enriches your story. Conflict with a character. Hello, I'm Brenda. This is Write Your Story, and I love to help you to write your memoir. So how does this must-have ingredient of conflict work in memoir? Essentially, the conflict stems from you, not from somebody else, from you. It stems from you and the needs and the wants you have. Now, you may have conflict with family members in your memoir. You may have conflict with a school teacher. You may have conflict in some way with another character in your memoir. But essentially, it comes from you because you have a need or a want or an attitude or something in you that this person doesn't meet or challenges in some way. And your role now in your story is to go on a quest in order to solve this challenge, to meet this need, to overcome this conflict, or to make peace with it. So let's look at why conflict, and particularly conflict with another person, although it doesn't have to be, but particularly conflict with another person makes memoir so readable. It adds depth, it adds layers of interest, of conflict, of complexity that an easygoing relationship or an easygoing story just doesn't have. So let me give you an example of how I discovered this for myself. When I was exploring writing and when I was exploring whether I was a writer, I joined a writing group and we met once a month in order to do writing together. Somebody led the group and guided us in writing exercises. And one of the writing exercises was this: somebody who you know, with whom you get along well, with whom you have a good relationship, and write a character piece about them. Draw something out about them and put it on the page. So I chose my mom. The next exercise was to choose a person with whom you do not get along, with whom you do have conflict, someone who's really a little bit of a thorn in your side or a challenge in your life, who you don't understand, who doesn't understand you, and describe that person or write a character sketch of that person. So I chose my father and I wrote a piece with regard to him. And when I looked at both pieces and I compared them, I realized that the piece with my mom was a really loving, warm piece, but it was a bit like vanilla ice cream. Lovely, good flavor, but not much in the line of complexity, not much to unearth or mine or go deeper in, because I understood that relationship, it worked for me. When I looked at my father, I realized, as I actually finished writing that piece, I realized this is a much more interesting character than my mother. This person is a much more interesting story to unpack. Readers would be far more interested in the complexities and the conflict of my relationship with my father and who he is than they would my mother, because that one is far too easy to understand. This relationship, with this conflict, when there's complexity, when this person brings things out inside of me that I don't always like about myself, or showcases needs and wants I have that are not fulfilled, that now becomes great depth, great interest, and is more like Rocky Road ice cream than vanilla ice cream. It has turns, it has twists. The reader doesn't always know where it's going to go because it's unpredictable and vastly interesting. And that is what conflict does for our stories. If we write memoirs that just showcase our good, easy relationships with people, that put a bright light on us as people because we are always our best with people we get along easily with, it's not of great interest. There are no twists and turns, no obstacles, no quest, no journey with interest. It's like a flat road through the prairies where you can see where it's going, you can see where you've come from, and you can see everything on the side for miles around. You know where you're headed. When you write conflict in your story with a personality with whom you are in conflict in some shape or form, you now have terrain where the reader doesn't really know where you're going. And even as you write it, you may not always know where you're going, but it is far more interesting, and it draws things out of you that you weren't expecting, and the reader will actually connect with that. Conflict brings out the multi-dimensional aspects of our personalities and the personalities of the people we are writing about. So even when you're writing a story about someone with whom you actually have a good relationship, whom you do understand far more easily, always look for those elements of them that you can illustrate. You don't have to spell them out. Illustrate it that actually also shows their shortfalls, shows that they are human. You will make them a much rounded character. But the conflict with people with whom you don't get along, who are not meeting your needs, who are obstacles in your pathway, is where the story really is. And that is going to be the story that is going to be hardest for you to write. But it is also going to be the most fulfilling once you have completed it. Hard stories that stay inside of us will destroy us. Hard stories we put on the page actually liberate us once we have told them. So that is something for you to consider. What is the conflict in your memoir? Who are the characters or the situations in your memoir that bring conflict into the story? Those are the ones you want to really bring out and coax and bring to the fore. Now, in my next video coming out next week, I'm going to expand on this a little bit more. I'm going to expand on conflict with characters in our story, and I'm going to use Trevor Noah's memoir, Born a Crime, in order to illustrate this point. In this memoir, he has conflict with his mother, with whom he actually has a really good relationship. In fact, he adores her. It's not a dysfunctional relationship in that the relationship is broken down and they don't get along. They actually are a team. They adore each other. And yet there's conflict that comes out in this relationship that drives them apart. So do watch out for that memoir. If you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. And I will see you in that next video as we look deeper into conflict and characters in writing our memoir.